So Mario's brother has accepted the $300,000 that was raised for his legal fund. And by the way, it was less than that. And then some news publication runs a story saying that the donations have slowed down, and then they went right back up. Because the people, the vast majority of the people in our communities, in our society, the people that comprise the society for whom these social contracts are made, laws are made, are saying with their words and with their dollars that we're okay with this one. This one's not a crime. If he did it. We don't know that he did it. The evidence is very fucking thin, but because there is a corporate interest involved, the person who expired is a representative of the fucking oligarchy. We're going to go forward against someone who we're not even fucking sure did it, because we have to make an example, because these are the people that we actually serve. And the people who comprise this democracy are saying, even if he did it, let him go, but he didn't do it. This isn't a democracy, right? Because the will of the people isn't followed. If it were in this case, this would be going away. The will of the people is almost never followed. All it takes, though, is one fucking call, one fucking accusation by someone attached to a corporation for the cops to mobilize against the people. But when the people would like to mobilize against anyone attached to a corporate interest, they shrug their shoulders and say, nothing we can do. What am I talking about? For example, the Sackler family, my favorite example, the purest example of how corporations get away with murder, literally get away with murder. If you're not familiar, the Sackler family are the ones who are behind the opioid epidemic that was responsible for killing and ruining the lives of millions of people. They intentionally and knowingly sold this drug to doctors, fabricated studies to say that this drug was not addictive when they knew that it was highly addictive. And then they endeavored to hide any evidence that it was addictive. This is very intentional. They knew that people would die, and then people did die. I'm talking teenagers, high school athletes that were prescribed this medication, and the doctors felt okay prescribing this medication to kids, to former addicts, to people that might be vulnerable to addiction. They prescribed it like candy because they were told that they could. It was a diabolical scheme. Many people's lives were ruined, ancillary to the ones whose actual addiction took their lives or ruined their lives. So the family members, communities were left in ruins by the Sackler family. And all they got was a fine. The people would like to see them all incarcerated. It's very easy to see how and who was responsible for this major cover-up, this whole thing. Because there were emails. There were emails and there were people that were willing to testify. And yet there was never a prosecution of any of them personally. And none of them will ever go to jail, even though the people would like to see them. Even though the vast majority of the people who comprise the society for whom this contract, the social contract was made, the laws were made, they want to see these people pay with their lives by being incarcerated. That's never going to happen. But if you work at Kroger and you suspect a pregnant woman of maybe shoplifting and you don't have it on video and the cop hasn't seen any evidence, the cop will approach that pregnant woman in her car and shoot her dead based on an accusation alone. You guys know this is what I'm talking about. And it's okay because they were acting on the directive of someone who represented a corporation. I watched a video the other day of cam footage of a cop approaching 3 guys on vacation They're all wasted, lying down on the porch outside of their resort. And I guess someone from the resort had called the police rather than just kind of like waking them up or asking them to fucking go back to their rooms. These guys are all just calm. One of them is actually asleep. And this cop approaches and is rude, belligerent, awful, right from jump, is trying to kick the one sleeping guy awake. One of the other guys is super calm still, slurring his words because he's drunk and that's not illegal. Is like, why do you have to do that? You know? And the guy is like, because we were told by the hotel. So you're just a fucking henchman? Someone attached to a fucking corporation? The guy's like, are we breaking the law? No. Guess what? This still devolved to a fucking tasing situation based on nothing but the whisper of a fucking directive by someone attached to a corporate interest. They will do anything. They will do anything in that circumstance. But if 1 million people stood side by side and said, hey, we would like for this to be prosecuted because this disgusting family is responsible for the ruin of communities, of people's lives and deaths, by the way. We'd like to see them be prosecuted. They'll be like, nothing we can do. If we all banded together and said, hey, insurance companies are scamming us. We pay into them for years and years and years, and then when we finally need to use them, they deny our claims and then they drop us. They'll say, seems legit to me, nothing we can do. They paid for these laws to be made. They contribute to my fucking campaign, so nothing I can do. This isn't a democracy. It's an oligarchy, it's a corporatocracy, but it's not a democracy. It is fundamentally flawed.